Okay, imagine this. You are applying to the Royal Irish Academy of Music, and you know that your theory entrance exam is coming up soon, but you're not exactly sure when. So you email the school and they say they're going to come out with the dates and times soon. So you're like, okay, and you just move on with your life. You're not really thinking of it. You're not really stressed about it. You got things to do. You're just moving on with your life until you get the email that has the dates and times of the exam. And in big bold letters, it says Saturday, the 21st of January at 10 a.m. And you're like, okay, that's doable. Until you realize that 10 a.m. is Dublin time and you are on Pittsburgh time, which for you that means 5 in the morning. Oh, and also the exam is supposed to last about 4 hours. And you're supposed to be in the Zoom meeting at least half an hour before the exam starts. So for you, that is 4:30 in the morning. The hair stands up on the back of your neck because you're like, what the heck? I have to do a theory exam at 5 in the morning? But then also this excitement kind of crawls in, right? This excitement of like, I have to do a theory exam at 5 in the morning. This is completely like something that I have not realized that I would have to do. I never thought that I would have to do this. But challenge accepted. Hello and welcome to the Confident Musicianing Podcast. I am your host, Eleanor, and after countless practice sessions, a ton of broken reeds, and 7 different music school acceptances in 3 different countries, I have learned a thing or two about savoring your practicing, becoming your best practice companion, and actively working towards your musical goals. And I want to share this with you, because I want you to become your best musical self. Are you with me on this? Let's get started. So you can probably guess I was maybe a little more than at least, a little stressed when I saw that email. Because for me, 10 a.m. Dublin time is 5 a.m. Pittsburgh time. And just a little bit of context, this was an online exam, so it was actually 5 in the morning for me. It was actually really cool how they set it up. You had to have specific, you had to set your space up for the exam, and it was online. It was just really cool. I found it really cool. But I remember feeling really nervous about this. So of course I emailed them and I was like, okay, are there any other exam times? Maybe they've scheduled me in for the 5 a.m., but maybe there's one that's later that maybe I could be moved to. But slowly but surely it became apparent that I would have to do this theory exam at 5 in the morning. And my mind was like, okay. I was nervous, I was scared, I'm gonna be honest, but I was also like, challenge accepted. Let's do this. Here we go. So I went all in. The week before, I woke up earlier and earlier. I was waking up earlier and earlier, and I started going for walks at 5 or 6 in the morning just to get my body used to waking up earlier and moving around earlier. At one point, I even went roller skating before school at a nearby park at 6 a.m., which sounds like something that I would never do, but I did it. I started to really like waking up earlier and earlier, although I really didn't like the dark. But this week, I really felt like I was being more and more of a morning person because I was waking up at 5 a.m., 4:30 a.m., 4 a.m., and just doing things in the morning. I was also cramming for the exam, so I was studying theory every day, and the school gave us a list of topics that would be covered, so we knew what to revise for. Until about 4 days before I was supposed to take this theory exam at 5 a.m. And I realized that the terms for things, like technical terms, in Ireland are different than in the States. And I had been revising with the stuff that I had learned in the States, and I had no idea that they were different in Ireland. So for those 4 days before the exam, I was relearning things with different terms. It really felt like, even though it was still English, it felt like I was learning another language, which for me, I took that as a challenge. But I remember kind of losing my breath when I realized, oh no, all of these theory terms are completely different, and I have an exam at 5 in the morning. All about this in 4 days. It was a big challenge. The day before the exam, we had a practice Zoom meeting. They outlined everything that was going to happen. We checked our connections. It was basically just all the nitty-gritty stuff. And I had been studying for a while now, and I had also been studying all the new terms that I didn't know were different in Ireland compared to the States. And I was a little nervous because 1, theory, 2, doing theory at 5 a.m. in the morning and being assessed on it. So the night before, I was nervous. I was nervous about 2 things, right? Theory, also 5 a.m. in the morning. And before I went to bed, I did kind of a breathing exercise because I really needed to. I knew that I wouldn't be able to sleep unless I calmed down. So I did some breathing exercises. I kind of took my mind off of it. I really focused on being present in the moment, realizing what was happening in that moment so that I didn't let my brain go, but tomorrow we have to do a theory exam at 5 in the morning. That actually really helped, staying present in the moment. I went to bed about 9, and then I woke up at 3:45 in the morning. I woke up, it was so dark, it was so quiet, but inside of me, I had this feeling of excitement and confidence and feeling ready, in my bones. I was yes, this is our mission for the day, and we will achieve it. And it just made me feel so excited. It's so strange. No one wants to take a theory exam at 5 in the morning, but that time at 3:45 in the morning when it was completely dark, I felt so excited. This is it. Here we go. So I got my coffee for the morning. I had my breakfast. At about 4:20 in the morning, I got onto the Zoom meeting and I started my exam at 5 in the morning. Now, this exam was supposed to last, or expected to last, about 4 hours. And I got it done in about 3, which was really handy. The first section, there were 2 sections. The first section I had a hard time finishing, but the second section I finished an hour early, which was quite nice. I can remember the absolute feeling of relief after I finished the exam. Yes, I just did a music school theory entrance exam at 5 in the morning. And I was nervous for it. I was stressed for it. I was super duper stressed for it. Except for the fact that right now, in this moment, I just finished it. I did it. And at that point, I was to be honest, I do care about the results, but I'm just so proud of myself. I did it. I didn't think I could, but I did. And it was just such the relief of accomplishment and relief, and it was just absolutely amazing. At that point, I could finally relax. And relax I did. I rested the whole rest of the day. I just slept. I prioritized myself because it's not every day that you put yourself through a theory exam at 5 in the morning. I think you deserve to rest a little bit afterwards. Looking back on this experience, I learned a few things. The first thing that I can remember is I can do more than I realized. And so can you. I think that this experience is a learning tool for both of us. We can do more than we realized. I had no idea that I could do a theory exam at 5 in the morning, but I did it. I put my mind to it and I did it. And that is such a good lesson. We can do more than we realize. I think our brain tends to want to give up before we actually need to. So we can do more than we realize, 100%. And the second one is just because I was nervous, it did not mean that I couldn't do it. I could do it. I did it. And that's also true with auditioning, with absolutely anything we do. Just because we're nervous about it doesn't mean that we can't do it. It means that we care about it, and that's a good thing. Now, I got into the Royal Irish Academy of Music, which is an amazing thing. I was so proud of myself because the theory exam was at 5 in the morning and I didn't know if I actually did well, but I must have because I got into the Royal Irish Academy of Music. So I hope that this episode was a little more of a story time episode. I hope that it can help inspire you to do things that you want to do, even if you're scared. Do musical things, whatever those musical things are. If you have any exam stories or music theory stories or anything like that, any wins, anything that you learned from anything like that, please do let me know. I would be so grateful to learn about that. You can email me at eleanor@confidentmusicianing.com or DM me on Instagram at eleanor.obo. All of those links and all of those things are going to be in the show notes or description below. If you have any theory exams or entrance exams or auditions coming up, I truly, truly, truly wish you the best. I hope you have fun in them, and I hope you do your absolute best. And I am so grateful that you listened to the podcast. I'm so grateful that you listened to this episode and you hung out with me. That's so lovely. And I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day. Bye!